Oh, so interesting. I'm now like, is this Mercury retrograde right now? I haven't watched Jimmy or any of like like my forecast people. Like I haven't watched anybody like that recently, so I don't know what's going on astrologically. Like, oh, let me check my scheduler. Actually, this is interesting. Um, all right. Actually, I should pay like I'm so busy, I always forget. Like, it's the same thing as like, people watching the news for weather. It's like, oh, I didn't watch the news or whatever. Okay, yeah, Mercury conjunct Mars. Fuck. And Venus in Aquarius. Okay, so that's kind of more positive. Mercury conjunct Mars sounds. I don't know. Just me not knowing anything sounds like people are gonna try to start some shit. And I'm like, I ain't here for that. I ain't here for any of that. Um, that just tells me I need to avoid people like the plague. Because like, even if it's like, because like, you could see it as like a good opportunity. Because sometimes you need to have arguments or disputes or discussions in order to like, um, to settle things. That is an important process. But with it being in Mars, feels like that people are just going to be dedicated to misunderstanding. This is just like instinct based. Like, this is not me looking up anything. Because Mercury is like uh, knowledge, information, whatever. And Mars is the planet of like war. So weaponized information. That's horrible. But then it has a nice Venus in Aquarius, so that means it might be abundant in some sort of way, maybe. But let's see what the internet says. Mercury conjunct Mars and blah 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 blah. I'm on my work computer. Like, this is the thing. I spent so much time setting up each individual computer to work at a certain function, but because I'm having to now pack all my computers and take them with me, it's become harder. It's more difficult. Um, it's really fucked up. But I know for a fact I ain't using fucking StormNet. Fuck that shit. I'm not using Storm. Never using StormNet. Fuck them. I do not prescribe to the school's Wi-Fi system. Fuck that shit. They don't have my information. They don't know none of my shit. Fuck you. Okay, that's my that's my Mercury and Mars right now. Fuck you, bitches. If you want my information, you gotta pay me more. Like, I don't prescribe. I do not sign on the, selling my information to third parties. No, fuck that shit. Okay, so let's see. It might be hard to know. Mars share many things. Okay, I don't need to know the statistics. They're showing me all like this. Okay, that. Well, this is Opera. I don't even know if it's Opera GX. Let's go on Chrome. Wait, oh no, that was Chrome. Okay, wait. Okay, let's go on Opera. See, I use Chrome for personal information and Opera for like business and stuff like that. So let's see. I actually like overall, like, for the different uh browsers, I like Opera and Opera GX. Like, those are the two ones that I like prefer. Opera GX is more for gamers and stuff like that, and it has like a utility belt on the side that gives you hyperlinks to like different relative things. Um I mean, like, I guess there's some people who would appreciate it if you like kind of like tatesen, like if you like information that's more like this versus like that, then yeah, no, it's a good because we all respond to different, like, everybody's brain works differently. So what would be considered a macro or a hotkey or something for somebody might be different for somebody else. Like, what would be like, okay, like, when I was in school, somebody like commented about my keyboard. My like, it's for gaming or whatever. I'll just show you real quick. Ugh, fuck. Okay, so they don't sell this anymore. So like, this is kind of a rare thing. I'm so glad. Like, at first I thought, when I moved, I thought it was lost. Like, I looked online trying to buy this exact one-handed keyboard. but a lot of them, they kind of try to conform to the hand. Uh, but I don't use it for my, what is it? It would be my left hand. So like this is where your left hand technically would be if you look at the different like yeah, so like if it was a keyboard, it's more associated with the left hand. But I'm left-handed writing. So I can't use the left-handed macros or hotkeys with my left hand because I'm using it to draw, right? So I need to be able to use the left-handed stuff with my right hand. And so this one, as you can see, like it doesn't like it's not conform, like it's not hand shaped, because like if I bought one that was like shaped for the left hand, it would make it more awkward to use. But this one's really flat and like like it's more versatile. It's not perfect, obviously. Like I could benefit with a few more different keys on here, and sometimes I do change it within the individual programs occasionally, but I get kind of some of the basic, like, because I use Photoshop and stuff like that, so or Krita, or like like all those programs, it has some of the basic hotkeys that you need for that, and like also to change brush size and stuff. Like I usually the carrots, I adjust, like, because that's actually usually to scroll through different brushes. Like the default setting for that, like the carrots, when you just open the program for Photoshop, probably for other programs too, but it's usually, it scrolls through the different brushes. I don't need that. Like I don't need like a hotkey for that, because I'd rather like manually go through that. But like I do need a lot of times adjustments for like the brush size and stuff like that. You could also adjust for like hardness and softness and like and I manually change the opaque and stuff like that. I also change pen sensitivity, and I also, since I am left-handed, I do have to make adjustments for what's it called, for like to keep the lines smooth, like, because like I could get really sketchy like when I draw, like it's not like not a straight line, like, so I have to bring up the weight for that, like like I have to adjust for that, and that's kind of like that's how I set up my brushes, like that's how I do stuff. But anyway, but yeah, like this was from China, and they don't sell it anymore. And if you look online, there's not very many keyboards like this. If there were, like, I would be open to changing it up, but like whenever you look for a left-handed keyboard, it usually tries to conform to like a hand shape, because like, they're trying to make it easy for the people who are using it for the left hand, but it's like I'm not using it for my left hand, I'm using it for my right hand. So yeah, and like, okay, so these two, like the two red like these things, this is a space bar. And then the mode thing is kind of neat, because then it changes the WADS keys into like arrow keys. So I mean, I don't use it very, very much. Like I sometimes use that when I'm like selecting something, just to kind of like make it more precise, like with the movement of it, rather than doing it by like a mouse or with my pen, because there's like more room for error there. So like with the arrow keys, you get a little bit more of a more precise movement of whatever you've selected. But yeah, so I'm just like, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, like, there was some fucking weird lady, like, she asked me, do you own your suitcase or something, or like, I don't know, she was like, do you own, like, it's like, well, that's an interesting set of phrases. What would have been more polite or more, correct would have been, where, like, especially since we're two women, it'd be like, oh, where did you get your suitcase? I mean, that would have been a more common line of questioning back in the past when people used to be friendly and actually knew how to talk to each other. Oh, I like your suitcase. Where did you get that? You know. But that's more of like a yashike sort of person. So somebody who actually has social skills would be able to soften a situation. But because everybody, because I mean, obviously some people are watching my YouTube channel, so they're already like aware of me. But you know, like I don't mind playing the role of Heyoka. Like, if I have to be the disturber to allow people to see the flaws in this synthetic order, then fair enough, you know. Because to me, it's more odd how people are conducting themselves right now, acting like that's normal versus what actually is, you know. And people are always like really they don't like authenticity. Most people don't like authenticity because it requires you to actually deal with that information, you know. But like I mean, like, but at the same time, I could see the argument of, well, you know, like the whole entire like, because like a lot of old people say this, right? Like they'll be like, you know, young people don't have manners, blah 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 blah, and they hate how like people talk to each other. So it might just be me showing my age, but the lady who was talking to me was like kind of like around the same age as me, maybe a little older. So I don't think it was like an age thing. It was more like they had absolutely no idea how to talk to me. And that's fair. I don't. Well, okay, when I was younger, I used to be very purposeful when I used to talk to people. But nowadays, it's like I don't bother with talking to anyone because it's like just how people conduct themselves is just very strange. Like the more that I've gotten older, the more that I've seen stuff, the more I feel like I just don't relate to anyone anymore. I used to be more open-hearted and really like accepting of people, and I still am to a certain extent. But I also realized that I don't need to let people in myself as much as I used to. Like I used to be way too accepting of certain things. So now I'm just like, well, like I can't like that's the thing is I can't force somebody to be more receptive than what they are, you know. I could just be myself and hope that they, I don't want to say change because I'm not trying to say like everyone needs to like change. It's not that, but it's the opportunity to change your perspective. It's the opportunity to change your frequency in some sort of way. I don't always jump to that. Like I know that there's been like several points in my life where those kind of opportunities have come to me. Like you know, the shoe would be on the other foot, and I wouldn't approach it in the correct way because I was kind of programmed to be more skeptical of my own evaluations. Like even though, like, cause like I think it's kind of like a natural thing. Like if something should stir something. Like you know, like if you have inspiration, if you have an interest, if you have that, you probably should actually go with that. To be honest, but we're constantly taught, men and women, we're constantly taught that no, we shouldn't do that, and it's very hard to like get over that. But it's also not only like is it that, you know, the whole entire initiation thing is that, is because also unfortunately sometimes it's that we already know what to expect. Like even if there was a situation where there was like a initiation of conversation, what can be gleaned from that? Like I mean, basically, long story short, I suck at small talk. Long story short, I suck at small talk, so that's why I learned a lot of languages, because that's the only way I could, like, suffer through it. You know, I could talk to a Chinese person, 你吃了吗? You know, you know, German, 我geht's es Ihnen? You know, it's more interesting that way. At least, like, you know, the novelty of it makes it more interesting. But, no, like, it was just, like, that was such a weird question, because she was asking me if I owned my suitcase. And I was like, yeah, that was just a weird fucking, like, that's the thing is, I don't know really what she meant by that. Like, I don't know what she was trying to infer. Like, was she trying to ask, like, was that a gift? Or was she trying to ask... Well, I don't think it was, like, where I got it. I think it was more, did you buy it? And that's fucking weird. But to answer your question, woman, yes, I did buy it. It's my suitcase. You know, just play the Ariana Grande song, you know, Seven Rings. I want it, I got it. You know, you know, that's what it is. But yeah, it was weird. It was weird. But I could see why though, because, like, you know, like I said, they were expecting me to act crazy and stuff like that, and I disappointed them, basically. But at least I'm keeping them on their toes. That's the whole point. But yeah, I'm trying to log into my computer, and it's like, there must be Mercury retrograde right now, so, because, like, now my work computer is doing weird things. And that's, like, a brand new computer. Like, there should be nothing wrong with that. Though, my Japanese friend who, my Japanese Canadian friend told me that I should probably change some of the settings for that, because, you know, like, I don't know, like, because it is, like, technically, like, a Chinese brand, and it's probably sending, like, third-party data somewhere, and I have to go into the settings and change that crap. I haven't done anything, like, really significant on it, so, like, I will do that eventually, but, like, I'm not, like, super worried about it, because, like, I'm not, like, you know, I'm not handling anything big right now. And also, like, I feel like, really, like, 100%, like, it's not even, like, who cares of, like, what's China, Russia, what, like, who cares what anybody is doing? It's fucking AI that's, like, the main problem right now. Like, some of the things that are happening are not even, like, human problems anymore. It's actually, you know, programs taking over. And unfortunately, like, how do you fight, like, a disembodied spirit, or, like, a disembodied consciousness? You know, you can't. And it's like, so, like, while I do believe, like, because that's the thing is, like, I talk to a lot of like, really intelligent people. Like, I've been lucky enough to make, and I was talking about, like, you know, men don't like to network with women, but I actually managed to talk to a lot of, like, highly intellectual people over the years in, like, pretty high fields and stuff like that, like PhDs, master's degrees and stuff like that. You know, like, I've been able to talk to people who are quite learned, and you know, the wealth of like, they have more access to different things, you know, obviously, and stuff like that, but you know, it doesn't, like, you don't have to have, like, a PhD to teach people things, because, like, you know, there's the whole lesson of life. You eventually, like, you know, you just gather information after a while. really, like, what a PhD tells you is that you're specialized and that you know how to format things correctly. That's what that tells me. But, like, also think about it, though. Like, nowadays, kids are using AI programs to do... Like, I'm pretty sure, like, a lot of the people who are, like, technically passing in school right now, they're all using AI programs. Like, they're all using AI. I don't think very many people are actually using just 100% just their own skills right now. 100%. Like, I would say, like, 63% of the work is being done by programs, unfortunately. Yeah, that's my hypothesis. That's not based off of any statistic data or anything. That's based off of conjuncture or something like that, you know. And like all things, like, actually, let's just boil it down. Even before AI, success is kind of determined by who you know, and, like, basically socializing in general. Like, who are your friends, who are your enemies, and how do you navigate all that? And I'm such a, like, a lone ranger. Like, I'm very much like, you know, like, I don't like the politics of anything, and I just, like, I'm a very independent person, so I've never been really into that. And I kind of just enjoy, like, observing everybody from, like, afar, basically. Um uh and I'm kind of like, and I do really like being a freelancer. Like, I've always enjoyed freelancing more, but, like, there's no prestige in that, right? You know, like, everybody wants to work for, like, high-end companies like Google and stuff like that. I know, like, okay, when I was in Cedar Hills, I knew this guy named Joshua. He worked for Intel. Like, he's a super smart guy. He's really into cosplay. Like, he has money. Like, if you look at his Instagram, he's constantly, like, flying over to, like, Barbados, and, like, and like, he's just living, like, a really crazy ass life, and he's, like, you know, super smart and whatever. But it's like, where was I going with that? Anyway, like, whatever. Josh is Josh. I don't care about Josh right now. But where was I going? Okay, so, like, I don't know why did I bring up Josh? Okay, yeah, he's smart. Oh, but yeah, we met each other in, like, a mental health facility. So, you know. And I mean, like, and okay, so, like, he's impressive or whatever. But I also met, like, a lady there who, like, Emily, she was a mother. She just gave birth, and she unfortunately gets really bad postpartum, and so, like, every time she had a kid, she had to go into that facility because she just, I don't know, like, she couldn't handle it or anything like that. Anyway, what am I trying to say? Okay, so, okay, I'm in school right now, right? And I'm learning in a more formal setting. But I would argue that those, like me being in jail, me going to Cedar Hills, all those things were, like, teaching, like, well, I can't say about jail, like, I didn't mean, like, I didn't meet great people in jail, but they were all lessons, really. Like, they were all things, like, you know, you get to see different people, see different lifestyles, and I don't know. I don't know if there's any, like, summary of that. Like, just, like, you know, life is learning in general, but I don't think I had a point. I'm trying to think of what my point, like, I kind of lost track when I talked about Joshua. It was like, oh, well, okay, so I was talking about, yeah, I don't, like, I totally lost track when I talked about Joshua. Like, I lost my train of thought. Oh, actually, no, I know why. Because the reason why I went to jail a second time was because my mom, I was living with my mom, right? And I wanted to meet up with Joshua. Like, I wanted to go, like, have drinks and, like, but because he lives far away, he would have to, like, he asked if he could stay with me, and I lived with my mom, and she said no, so I was like, that really sucked. And it just, like, I kind of, like, emotionally exploded because, basically, like, while I was living with my mom, I couldn't invite anybody over. Like, I'm not talking about, like, so, like, Joshua's gay. Let's get this straight. Joshua's gay. So anyway, um, I couldn't, like, make connection. Like, my mom could have all the friends over she wanted, but I could never have friends over. Sometimes she would even prevent me from leaving the house. Like, um, even before the pandemic, she would prevent me from leaving the house. And, like, it was just really abusive. Really, like, she was controlling and abusive. And I got, like, several cases of, like, reactive abuse. Like, like, when people are, like, put down for so long and they just kind of, like, explode after a while. I had two instances of reactive abuse. One where I attacked one of my niece's friends, um, because they put me down and made me feel so bad the whole time that I eventually exploded. Like, it happens. Like, I mean, like, it's kind of like that fuck around and find out kind of thing. It's like, I made up with her. Like, I apologize. Like, I don't think my niece, like, unless she told people, but I apologized to that girl. And I, like, and we hugged it out and everything like that. And, like, I didn't really talk to her because, like, I didn't feel like I needed to explain anything to her. Like, she probably already knew. I don't know. But anyway, I hugged her and I gave her, like, because I ruined her shirt, so I gave her $60, to buy another shirt. And, like, that's what I tried to do. I mean, I felt really bad, though. And, and then, and then the other time I exploded was because she didn't let me. I'm 35 years old, and well, at the time I was, like, maybe 33 or something, but I was 33 and she didn't want me to, like, she didn't want me to have my friend over. But she has, like, weirdos like her ex-boyfriend and her girlfriends and stuff like that, but I can't have anybody. Like, that was fucked up. Like, 100% that was fucked up. And she judged him because he was in Cedar Hills with me. Like, yeah, no, like, I don't know. Yeah, I understand. Like, maybe he was, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't know what, like, yeah, maybe it would be questionable. Maybe it was, like, kind of God protecting me. Like, me having, like, a breakdown was kind of, like, divine protection for whatever. But at the same time, it was like, I was never allowed to interact with people without my mom. Like, my friends were her friends. If she didn't like somebody, I couldn't hang around. Like, like, she dictated so much. And because she's a single parent, there wasn't, like, a father figure to kind of, like, keep her in check, or at least kind of counterbalance her bullshit. Like, because, like, okay, look, we look on TV shows, it's like, okay, what, like, you go ask mom for something, she says no, you go ask dad, whatever. I didn't have that. It was like, my mom had guilt and more guilt and like, fake ass authority. That was basically what it was all the time. And it sucked. I mean, like, I know she was, like, like, I'm old enough to know, like, my mom's just human, so she just tried to survive the best she could, and she probably had plenty of other trauma herself that probably dictated her actions. But now that I'm older, it's like I see both of my parents as just like flawed human beings. Like they're just like I don't see them as authority figures anymore. And yeah, but recovering from that is so hard, and especially since I still rely on my mom. Unfortunately, I still have to rely on my mom because I don't have a car, and I don't have like a mode of transportation that's reliable enough for my current, like, for me going to school, because I go to school from 9 to 9, so from 9 to 9, so like even if I wanted to use like the bus or something, there's no bus that comes at like 8 p.m. to this small town, so it's not, unfortunately it's not realistic, even though my my heart and everything, like, if I had the money, like, I just really need like a shit ton of fuck you money to get the hell out of here. That's basically what I feel like. I mean, yeah, I do need to learn, I need to get my license and stuff like that, like, and I could do that. Like, I could probably do that within like 2 weeks or something like that. But the thing about it though is, even if I get the license, I don't have the money to get a car. So like that's kind of my reluctance there, is because it's like, well, I like okay. Everybody was like, okay, you need to get a job. So I got like a food handler's license. I haven't used that shit yet. I mean, it was $10 or whatever. I haven't used that shit yet. Like, because like the same issue is still the thing. I can't, like, it would take so long for me to get to the job and back, and like, like, it's just like, it's the same problem. Like, it's constantly the same problem. That's why I always thought digital nomad, that's gonna be my mode of work. Like, that's why I was like really focused on just like doing stuff online, because it's like wherever you go you could work, and there's like places like WeWork, and like, you could rent an office or something, like there's different ways to work around it. But it's, and then like, I tried to go to my aunt, and like I kind of showed her a pitch deck of basically what some of my business ideas were, and she didn't want to, like, she didn't want to be an angel investor at all for any of that shit. So I just was like, well, fuck it, I'm not gonna, like, so that's why I don't talk to any of my family, because it's like, you try to give them ideas, they poo-poo it, and like, and they want you to be invested in their problems, and it's like, I don't really give a shit, and like, why, you don't deserve my energy. like you're not entitled to my energy at all. And I've stopped talking to my mom because well, there's just really no point in talking to my mom anymore. Like, if I had a choice, I wouldn't see her anymore. Like, not like in a shunning way, but it's just like, I'm ready to move. I'm ready to go somewhere else. I'm ready to meet new people. I'm ready to, like, live a different life. I'm tired of being here. The place in which I live, this town, everything, is not really a good reflection of who I am. And I'm tired of people trying to convince me that it is, because it's like, I'm sorry, I'm just like, I'm very sure of what is me and what's not, and I'm not going to be convinced otherwise. So yeah, that's it. But yeah, okay, well, is my computer working yet? Okay, so I probably do need to at least change in the settings. The screensaver pops up way too quickly, which is kind of a problem for this one. There we go. As you can see, the password thingy is not popping up. It's just a screen. And there's the mouse. Okay. Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, it just took a while. But anyway, take care. Be good. Bye-bye.